All right, let's get into the Diddy trial of Combs, and then the Comey had the 8647. That's the Combs being for the hard part, and you're in the hair school for the cosmos, for the Big Bang's coming, and all those things. Okay, so basically, for this hair school, we can envision this mannequin, and you only get to cut it once, and you got to do all the haircuts on it, okay? And there's basically 7 basic haircuts, and then the 8th one is the man's cut. But everything works off this. So when you go to hair school, you get your mannequin. You first off, you put the laundry fabric softener on the hair as the conditioner, so it works as detangler because it's not real hair. And then the mannequins that have real hair on them are more than the hair school wants to spend for your little expedition there. All right. So with this haircut, we're kind of at that one length, the first haircut you learn. And as we're at that first haircut, that one length, we see the 100 days or whatever, right? Now we're gonna start, we snip, and then finally get to the length we want. If you've been in the hair school, or most people haven't, but then you gotta get, you start working it up, okay? And then some people, they do their one length like way short. They just sometimes they gotta buy a new mannequin, or all these different things or can be playing out as the so-called live golf game or whatever. And I need to do some videos tying in the Gulf War with the Mideast War and all these things, because this is going to help us understand this time frame that we're in a little better, and then the 2026 and all that stuff. But we'll get into that on another thing. Let me make a note here. The Obama pills, speed base, deeps. The deeps connects to the Indian and Pakistan. We see all of a sudden out of nowhere they got this little thing going on there, where there's nuclear threats and whatever. So the NDN and that Pakistan, the PA system is for the Pennsylvania thing, for the butler, okay? And the KISS is the sick on the backside, and it's also the Hershey that's wrapped in the silver, and that's tied to your Silver Surfer for that Fantastic Four and those types of things on another spectrum. And then the tan is for the tan man, all right? The Satan man, the orange man that came out in the 2017, he covered the woman, covered in the sun, the dawn, as he rose over this nation. And then the eclipse comes, and the darkness comes to transform this nation. As it transforms this nation, that's the Eve coming out, the darkness, the one who has access to the tree of knowledge of good and evil in life, and they become as God. That's where you become the sons of gods. And Genesis 1, these things are overlapping, and I'm going to get into another video of a timestamp so you can understand day one and all those kinds of things. And then the one would tie to your Wanda Fuca, and then also the Jesus down below, and that's the John, the sign of his coming for the wild times and whatever that we see breaking open and stacking, kind of the commercials now. And the lab rat, that jumbo jet, that Qatar, that rat, and those types of things are all stacking up for down the road, because it takes time to get these pin keys, the auto pin and all that stuff to grow up into the jumbo size rat for the snake to eat. And as the snake for this year has been hatched open in different ways, the snake year, It grows up and eats these pinkies to the fuzzies to the hoppers to the whatever. So the Huron, Robinetta, Joseph Robinetta Biden, the Robinetta, the Robin, the Net, the Hack Attack, the Eve, the got what was it, 40.7 or 47 trillion? Where's my notes at the day? 4.7 trillion missing, untraceable, being today. That's the Scott Besant. That's the for one of the great Scots for the 88 Time Machine, Back to the Future stuff going on now for part 1, 2, 3 overlaid, and then you got the Eric Stolz coming in here and there, whatever. But so the cent is tied to your currencies, and the cent, we see the penny being taken away where it's not worth its cent or whatever kind of thing. So that kind of thing stacking up. The Huron, Lake Huron, the poppies, the heroine, the poppies or the Pope. That's tying into one, and they're talking about how he said he might want to come in and do the peace deal for the Russian-Ukraine stuff or whatever. So see that kind of thing going on. Combs, he's being held in Brooklyn, and then Queen's secret child comes out, supposedly 48 years old, and then there was some other Queen thing I saw today, but the Queen, these is like a chessboard being moved in different ways. And then Cassie Ventura is 38 years old. This ties to the 2020 peace deal that Trump did. And then the Freak Off, the Free AK, they've been talking about Mountain Spur popping off. If Alaska pops, this is a great little northeast Seattle tsunami kind of thing going off there in the northwestern, or San Francisco, Oregon, just a washout, and that would be another. Any type of that kind of scenario would be washing out the sins of that nation, and those types of ways. And that Indonesian tsunami happened. The T-Sun tsunami has already stacked up on the spiritual frequency as far as that the crypto being taken, or the Mimi crypto coin buyers with Justin's son, but he's tied to world liberty and Trump and all those things. So this is all where the new lights are coming, and that's where Africa was in there. You see Elon going out, he's from South Africa, and then you see the South African guy, and then the white farmers, all that stuff, and that's tying into the people that's growing hemp and stuff in Texas that they're banning, and all these things that's going on down there, and whatever else. But I've gotten into some of these things in the past. The South African Elon, this son, and then this South African one with these white lights coming in. Okay, this dark light with the white lights. All right, you understand these little transfers is coming in from the spiritual to the carnal, through the men, world stage, whatever that told you is coming. It's happening before you now. All those types of things. So the who's the person? I'm having a brain fart. Either way, it doesn't matter. The kid Cootie, whatever his name is. We see the romantic with his 2011, the 2011. That's all right now with that 47. The 11's the 47. Set set fire to his car, and then the kids with the queen at the 48, and then the cars being set fire with the Teslas, and then the daughter going against Elon, those types of things that we've seen in the past or whatever. So this would be like the youngs ruling the old, and those rulers of darkness, and laying out. So the Percocet, and then the Percocet would be tied to the Pete Hedge Seth, and the Seth is tied to the one line for the Cain and Abel and Seth lineages or whatever. So you have Abel or Cain over here, the Abel in the middle, the ding ding ding, and then the Set over here. So the Astroglide, that's tying to your oil, the baby oil, the Rico crimes. That's the port. Sunk $35 million into the Miami mansion. Fred Trump, Fred Trump, the dad is connected to the Miami. So you're in that data time frame for the digital age and whatever else. But Star Island, and where was that thing? I have my notes about some houses or whatever. We got Steve Harvey with the baby oil. All right, Steve Harvey, baby oil is being mentioned on some other videos, and then it's connecting to these Diddy parties or whatever. But and then the Eve is tied to the Elon, and the baby oil is tied to your kid, to the Queen, the 48, and the 48 is for your Elvis on day 2 and those types of things. And basically a little short thing on the timestamp, but you have a day 7 going into and a day 1, and this is like where the Lord God, the Lord and all y'all, and you, or the Lord in you who's killed in Sodom, or whatever kind of thing that's being told as far as this script for this world stage. This Lord of Lord is coming over the garden, and you realize you have this garden, and to realize and to take over this garden and to regrow it and whatever kind of thing. And this is where these people have been out of bounds or whatever. So the Lord God's got to come in and to bring him back into being a man, because they've gotten to beastly proportions and those types of things. Oh beast, the beast man. I mean, that's just like one like carnal example. It's the beast man. Like, man, that dude's a beast. Like all kinds of different things. So this is where like you got to start paying for your weight. Like they get you to like, and then you got to pay for your airfare. Yeah, let's pay for their weight. Let's pay for their weight. And you're like, shit, I got to quit working out and all this other stuff. So, different things going on here because everything's been put to you as a test. And these tests, these lights are all gathered up, and they're getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and it's just going to come crashing down on you in different ways, shapes, and forms. Because it told you way back then, on the first AI system with the Renaissance and all that shit going on, where they knew 30, 35 languages, did all this crazy art, whatever, right? Or it's just like, man, they had to have some type of computer or whatever. Well, they were coming out of the AI age. Breaking down, coming back in. Probably happens every 500 years or so. Either way, we gotta end it here because of time.